Greetings, sirs and madams. Welcome to the I Like to Video Games a couple weeks after Halloween Horror Month addendum video. And thanks for stopping by, because today, I'm in my pajamas. I'm sure some of you are probably wondering why that is, and I'm sure some of you are also wondering if my hat is indeed part of my pajama ensemble. To answer both of those questions, I'm gonna look that way. You see, during the month of horror, I played a shit ton of scary games. Got myself a bit worked up, and can't sleep. So I figured I'd make a video. And yes, I can assure you, it is. So now that it's after Halloween, I decided to play some of my favorite non-scary games to wind down after a long season to a false sense of comfort, but an actual comfort, because you're not playing a steaming pile of nope, you're playing a JRPG or an adventure game, and there's no reason to think that they're gonna throw something like this at you. Why? So today, sirs and madams, we take a look at the top 10 scariest things in otherwise not very scary games, or the top 10 reasons to cultivate a deep paranoia and never feel safe at the controls of a game ever again. Not entirely sure when I got dressed, but it happened. Number 10. I know what you're all thinking. Yeah, Twilight Princess is a pretty creepy game overall. Something that I guess I had kind of forgotten about over the last 6 years of not playing it. While I was playing through pretty much the majority of the game to get to the Ice Temple, I was quickly reminded that the Yeti at Snow Peak is far from the flat-out scariest thing in this game, which is why the entry is at number 10. But regardless, he makes the list because rather than being out-and-out scary, he is definitely the most off-putting element in the game. And he's the piece of the game that I remember the most clearly after all these years. I'll never forget my first time coming here. The people around Zora's Domain talk about the beast who lives at Snow Peak, and how they've had to be extra careful because he's been showing up around town more than usual these days. The way they talk about him, I was preparing and raring for a fight. The last time I had to catch a fish for a monster, I got swallowed by it. Climbing the mountain was no easy task either. It was treacherous and cold, I assume. And when I finally got there, I had my sword out, metaphorically, and I was ready to take on this veritable Yeti of a snow monster that is literally a Yeti. Oh geez, this is weird. I didn't know how to handle this. I assume there's a handle somewhere, but I keep missing it. So let's deconstruct this situation a bit here. First of all, when has a Zelda game ever taken anything out of real-world mythology or fiction? Yes, I know the Hylians are technically elves, but if you point that out to most Zelda players, they'll either just go like, whatever, or, hey, it's transcended Tolkien, okay? But aside from that, I can't think of, like, anything. The fact that an honest-to-goshness Yeti was in my Zelda game was a bit weird. What was more than a bit weird was when he, second of all, didn't want to fight me. Nah, bro, I'm totes a friendly Yeti. Now let's go tobogganing. The Canadian in me was all like, tobogganing? For real and for true? But the gamer in me was all like, why is there a Yeti in my Zelda game? Third of all, he invites me into his house. Unique and interesting Zelda temple of all the games. Even when you get inside, this dude is still cheery and just happy to have company. Never goes full-on monster on you. Needless to say, I'm a suspicious bastard, and I played pretty much the entire segment like this. Just waiting for something really scary to happen, but nope. He just wants you to help him make soup for his sick wife. At least I think it's soup. Yeah, don't worry, it's lemon, right? So yeah, he's just a big friendly dude who looks like he could eat you for breakfast at any moment. Nothing creepy about that, right? What's really scary in this temple is his wife. Number 9. There are people out there who are going to tell me that Chrono Trigger and games like it can't actually be scary because the graphics are too far behind to allow it. But to those people I say, yeah, I'm pretty much right there with you. It's a JRPG on the Super NES. When has one of those ever been frightening? This is a game where you fight little big-headed trolls on balance balls that turn out to be adorable, unravel the mysteries of the universe during a teleportation experiment. Oh well, I guess it's better than the alternative. But the cathedral scene in Chrono Trigger always creeped me out a bit, like at the back of my mind. You know, here, geographically speaking, and I could never really tell why. I mean, come on, all you're doing is tracking a kidnapping victim to a cathedral full of nuns who are all talking really suspiciously, and as soon as you call them on their bullshit, burst into flame and reemerge as half human, half snake, half abomination against sanity. I mean, what's so scary about that? I'll tell you what's scary about it. If this game was a whole lot less colorful and was in a D other than 2, well, then that'd be some Silent Hill level shit right there, don't you know? And as a kid, I think I always knew that. Once again, back of the head. I mean, this game has a lot going for it in the creepy department. The post-apocalypse, Magus's castle, hell, even being in jail is more of a nightmare than usual in this game. But the cathedral gets the spot because, well, it's the first damn level of the game. Even as the level goes on, they try to mess with you, faking you out, thinking you found the queen only to, God, not again! And then there's the prisoners, and you're just like, oh no, fool me 3 times, bitches. Oh, I guess you were. Uh-oh. It's remarkable how dark this game gets as it goes on, you know, because they started us off with flaming religious snake ladies. Well done, game, you've made me question everything I know about JRPGs. NumberEight cartoony aesthetic makes for a really uplifting game. That is, at least until you get to Frantic Factory's boss. Mad Jack, the Jack-in-the-Box, greets you the only way a Jack-in-the-Box knows how, belligerently and without warning. And he is ready and raring to make you fear closing your eyes at night for the rest of your life. This boss fight is terrifying in of itself. It's stressful, finicky, and difficult. In order to hit him, you don't just throw an item or punch him in the old gob. No, you have to hit a switch, one of 2, and you have to hit the one that corresponds to the color of platform he's standing on. That means not only do you have to be actively thinking about everything damn thing and finally get there before time's up. What's worse, even just surviving in this fight is nail-bitingly tense. Just keep spinning, spinning, always spinning. Eventually it gets to the point where hesitating for even a fraction of a second becomes a, well, yep, better luck next time. Okay, 3 hits ought to do it, right? Because that's how it works in Donkey Kong, right? Oh, hey, he's still going. If you fall off the platform, you get an elevator right back up, which is nice of them, but, you know, he's still waiting for you. He's always waiting for you, and it isn't long before he starts coming straight at you. Oh, he's gonna smoosh me and use me as toothpaste! Well, I'm out. And why in the name of pickle fried, oh my goodness, does he have to laugh like that? I mean, I'm not afraid of clowns. Like, these are pretty creepy, but I'm not afraid of them. This laugh, on the other hand, makes me think of clowns, and then makes me scared of them. There are other creepy moments in this game, but they aren't usually stretched out over an entire boss fight. This was 20 minutes of stress, terror, and difficulty that kept the heat on until literally the very last second of the fight. There is no reason that should have worked. All of this makes this bit of the game stand way out. He's scary to look at, he laughs like an evil clown, and the boss fight is tense as hell. Easily worth the number 8 spot. Number 7. Okay, now before we get started, and you all take it in turns to fill my comment section with claims of my incompetence utilizing the eloquence and grace that the internet is known for, let me just say that I'm not entirely sure that Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem is a straight-up horror game. It really is more of an historical epic that deals with some supernatural occurrences. I mean, the things that happen in this game aren't so much scary as they are unnerving. The enemies are mostly just these skeletons with skin that kind of makes them look like a zombie sort of thing that come in a variety of colors. And yeah, there are these guys, or these guys, but seriously, the only reason these guys are even remotely scary is because they're mildly difficult to fight. If I saw this guy in a movie, I would just be like, oh, look at his huge hands and his little head. Oh, he's an adorable little asshole. It's not a horror game, it's a game with juicy chunks of horror floating in it. And therefore, what I'm trying to say in so many words is, shut up, this is my list, not yours. Anyways, an extra tender, juicy chunk of that horror is the bathtub scene in the mansion. I guess kind of a spoiler warning because I'm about to reveal a jump scare, and there aren't that many of those in this game. Actually, I can't really think of any others. This might actually be the only true jump scare in the game. There are plenty of other creepy things in the game, and I won't give those away because the game can be quite devious with it when it tries, but suffice it to say that Eternal Darkness stands apart from most other horror games out there because it's got bigger and better things on its mind. Cosmic battles between elemental gods, a centuries-old conspiracy uncovered by a handful of humble unremarkables across history, and the kind of conceptual design that will leave you begging for more. Kind of. So yeah, this game's not all that concerned with fitting in with the survival horror crowd, so clearly when I walk into this bathroom, there isn't going to be anything that will warrant a brain scrape. Oh my shit! What the fuck was that? And why the fuck was that? It's so out of character for the rest of this game. What's worse is that it wasn't even a sanity effect. Yeah, one of the things this game does is that it messes with the player's head the lower your sanity meter is. I might expect this stuff from a character who's really hard up for sanity, but, well, you can do this whenever. It doesn't fit into the story, it doesn't fit into the mechanics, it doesn't fit into the game. So why is it here? Number 6. While coming up with the items for this list, I wasn't going to leave anything off the table. No stone unturned, as it were. If there was an unexpected scare to be found, by gum, I was going to mention it. And one of the most famous, most well-known, scary, unscary games out there is the one and only...
What up? You're supposed to fucking say something.
Ah! You scared me.
Aha, yes, I heard you were doing a top 10 list about scary things, and I couldn't resist.
Resist what?
Making this... worth watching!
Oh, ouch, bro.
You won't think that when you see what I've got for your number 6 spot.
I don't know, I gotta say, this number 6 pick is pretty unforgettable. I mean, it changed my life and all that then. It was quite a sticky wicky up my nose.
Okay, let's just, move on from, what you just... did.
Yeah, okay.
Anyways, I somehow doubt that your number 6 spot is as scary as Juggernaut from Legend of Legaia.
Wow, it's actually better.
What was yours?
Way better.
Keep in mind, though, that this is quite a light-hearted game, and even so, this comes quite close to the beginning of the game. Since this game isn't well known, I think it's time for backstory. My favorite part. The world is covered by an evil mist that turns monsters called Saru crazy. These monsters can be worn by humans to help them with tasks and give them strength, but this mist turns anywhere into a mindless zombie, and since the Saru are far stronger than most, civilization was forced to hide itself away, bringing the village of Brim Elm. Coming after a failed hunting trip and a lot of discussion about how bad the mist is, a mysterious Saru called Zeto teleports into the hall, taunting the villagers about their demise. Then, this happens. Understand that this means two things about little old me.
Holy shit, these things can be huge, and look at that face, oh my god!
The mist that was built up as a huge, horrible thing from hell has seeped into the wall. Oh my god, people are... A tree. But Juggernaut is almost never brought down with his scale. Almost every moment of his small appearances is left to CGI. A game that barely uses it at all. And there's one moment in the game that I just cannot spoil. But suffice to say, the game gets far darker in a moment that is supposed to be happy. Rather evil stuff. Compared to the rest of the game, it doesn't shy away from dark moments. But the writing itself is kept quite light. This is a 3+ game. I guess they knew we needed to kick up the arse once in a while.
A kick up the ass at that age?
You've got to get them when they're young.
Well, I guess. Is that where the old British stiff upper lip comes from? Scaring the crap out of 3-year-olds, then?
Again with the British thing? What do Canadians do? Dress up and play, chug maple syrup, and go log driving down the fucking St. Lawrence?
Yep, that was my 13th birthday. We call it a Canuckanizing.
Yeah, okay. Stiff upper lip.
Yes! Number 5. Alright, I'm a gamer, and I grew up with Nintendo consoles, which means I played this. It's Mario 64. Which of course means that I have been kept up at night by this thing. Yeah, there's a piano with teeth. Do I need to say more? I love how much Nintendo wanted you to experience this in the purest way possible. There's just a straight up gigantic room with nothing in it but a future lifelong fear of grand pianos. Yeah, your newest phobia also deals more damage to you than any other enemy in the game that I'm aware of. It's startling, it's creative, it's scary on a few levels, it's perfect for the number 5 spot on the list, and yet I'm not gonna keep going over it. Every YouTuber and or game critic has brought up their reasons for why this thing is like the scariest thing in a Nintendo game ever, and their reasons sound a lot like mine. So I've crammed a second entry onto this list. It's from the same game, it's just as scary, and it has just as many teeth, so it's okay, because, you know, the more the merrier. Yep, the eel from Jolly Roger Bay makes this list with flying colors. I've spoken before about my phobia of large water monsters and how that affects me while I'm playing water levels in games. Well, fun fact, there's a very good chance this asshole was the source of that fear. I don't specifically remember my first time coming across this manifest nightmare, but I don't really have to because each subsequent meeting of ours has been equally terrifying. Staring into the face of my terror fully realized the very inception of my lifelong fear, well, lifelong since 1996, attacking the very core of my iteration of the collective unconscious. Shit, almost out of air. Okay, Alright, going back down to stare into the face of fear for a while longer, and, Wait, jeez, I'm trying to get footage for a video here, and he just up and... Oh shit, 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 oh shit! And it's no better when he takes up shop in a different spot, and you have to try and lure him out to... Oh god! Lure him out to... Oh, come on, seriously, Nintendo? You want me to get that close to it? You know what? 119 stars. I'm good. Number 4. For number 4, I thought I would think outside the box. I do like a little bit of surprise on these lists, and so number 4 is the one and only...
Hey VZed, you want to talk about creepy crawlies in the ocean some more? Yeah, I know you do.
No, I really don't.
Oh, well that's too bad, because I had something from Echo the Dolphin that's going to redefine what it means to be scared.
Really?
No, not really. It's a game about a dolphin.
Ah, well, that's not so bad.
A dolphin who's on a search for his friends who got sucked into an inexplicable black hole. Echo the Dolphin, you play as this cute little dolphin named Echo. You're on an adventure to find your friends after they disappeared into some kind of wormhole that randomly cracked open into the sky. They all got sucked in, and it's up to you to find them. Echo really has some dedication to his friends because along the way there are sharks, jellyfish, and even whales he could come into contact with or fight along the way to make some progress. But that's not what's scary about this game. I mean, don't get me wrong, sharks are super scary. I saw open water, I know what they can do. Instead, there's a source of anonymity in the air, as if this time it wasn't the shark's fault. They must not have the technology to create kidnapping wormhole guns yet. The further you progress in the game, the more otherworldly it starts to become. There are things I can't really explain, other than the fact that I think aliens are afoot. Now, I know the ocean is scary and everything, but evil aliens kidnapping a poor little dolphin's friends out of the blue, while also ensuring they're in the ocean, have Echo travel to them so we can rescue them back is just... Wait, what? But I guess the reason as to why I'm picking this game is because when I was a child, I did one of the dumbest things I ever could have done. I put in the code for the final level of the game, which oddly enough is all ends. I guess I was just bored or something and tried entering random passwords to see if they would work. And man, was I surprised when it did. And as the 6-year-old I was at the time, what I saw was both astounding, yet absolutely terrifying. Yup, xenomorph-esque aliens! Nowadays they aren't too horrifying, especially since I've seen Alien upwards of 20 billion times. But when I first saw them, the only instinct I had was to, well, instead of facing my fears and playing through the game, poop my pants and run away screaming.
Really?
There's a chance that last part might be fiction.
How big of, know what? Forget about it.
Done and done. Now, what were we talking about?
Puppies, rainbows, and the fact that Smash is happening right now.
Aww, that's nice.
Number 3. Okay, so I lied. I did want to talk a bit more about creepy crawlies at the bottom of the ocean. The giant squid from Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars is certainly one that belongs on this list. This game was one of the first JRPGs I ever played, and it remains today as one of my all-time favorite games. Take that, part cheesy. It's funny, endearing, and loaded with great memories for me. One such memory is how creepy the sunken ship level is. As soon as you get there, the game wastes no time freaking you out. Wait a minute, the ship was brought down by a giant squid. A giant squid. A giant squid. A giant what? Oh, and it's locked in the cargo hold, as in it's in the ship, like the one I'm also currently in. There is a brilliant sense of dread and foreboding that follows you all the way through this level. Okay, or a brilliant sense of dread following me throughout this level. The theming and foreshadowing employed here is just exquisite. There is a giant monster on this boat. Now go finish a complex series of challenges and release it. Aha! This was amplified for me when I was young because I actually got stuck on this level for quite some time. It was a combination of some of the puzzles being way harder than they needed to be, and bad spelling, I guess. But the point is, it was so much scarier for me because of how much time I had had to build it up in my mind. The first time I saw this little treat, oh jeez, it can talk. When the battle starts, you begin by fighting tentacles, like you don't even see the squid yet. Most other battles in this game have you just up front fighting the boss, but this one actually has the battle leading up to another reveal. Everything about these first few stages of the boss fight works really well into building up the dread even more. The tentacles even have a move that takes away one of your party members for a turn, and when they come back, they have the fear status effect.
What did you see, Gino? Oh yeah, I would be scared too. I would have the fear status effect as well.
Oh, look at this thing. It doesn't even look like it can talk. Why is it this big? Why is it the staring eyes? And at least there's no teeth with this one, but that's the eyes. If it's not the teeth, then it's the eyes. Okay, and one way to make the piano scarier, add dim eyes. Oh, no. Number 2. Warning, this entry contains major spoilers for Phoenix Wright Justice for All, so yeah, watch yourself. Phoenix Wright is a pretty easy to understand premise. You are a lawyer. You get hired almost exclusively by defendants in really bizarre murder cases. The story and plot, on the other hand, anything but simple. But one thing always remains true: your ability to trust your clients. Sure, the clients have secrets and are often involved in the case to some degree or another, but you can always rest easy knowing that you don't have to defend a murderer. That was going through my head all the way through the first game and most of the way through the second game. Regardless of what I was thinking, I loved these games. I devoured these things faster than bacon and egg sandwiches, which I devour pretty quickly. At a time when I was most Justice for All, that your client might have more to do with the case than you had previously believed. Evidence keeps piling up, one proof after another. All of the evidence points to this sweet, harmless, dreamy, albeit kinda dim slice of movie star being a cold-blooded assassin hirer. He couldn't be the one responsible, right? Right? Wrong! The moment when Matt Ungard shifts his hair to reveal that he's an only slightly more cartoony Hannibal Lecter incited a sort of religious crisis in my mind. The rules have changed, and not only did I find myself in uncharted territory, they dropped it on me very effectively. I totally saw it coming, but I didn't want to believe it. Despite the fact that I had captured this footage from the Wii version, the first time I played this part, I was curled around my DS in bed, alone, at 3 in the morning in my dark basement bedroom, with only my blanket to keep me safe. And it wasn't the creatures under the bed or the creepies in the closet that got me here. I was faced with the most dangerous monster of all. Man. Well, this particular man, and at the moment. I know it seems like I put a lot into this moment, and I guess I kinda do, but the build-up is so clear and obvious. If you haven't figured out that shit is getting serious after the first day of this trial, you're not paying attention. And even though it's plain to see that this guy loves himself a little game of 2 degrees of murder, you can't honestly see his change in look and demeanor coming. What's with the scars? What's with the suddenly talking like a movie villain? But most importantly, what's with the brandy glass? And how did he sneak that into prison? You know what? Don't want to know. The events of the story make it so that you can't just come out and tell everyone that he's the murderer, but what's even scarier is that there's a prison guard right there, and apparently he doesn't give a shit. Number 1. Okay, so my number 1 pick for this list is a bit unorthodox. It's something I didn't really see coming, and something that I'm not sure if you're gonna... Whenever I start with live action, I get interrupted, so I'm just...
Good day, good evening, good morning, or good night, VZed. And a little vulture told me that you were doing a list on some scary shit, and...
Oh, hey, Jradgex, look, I appreciate it and all, but
Metal Gear Solid 2!
Anybody that's played it knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say it had a fucked up scene.
A fucked up scene? That's completely full of spoilers. So, in the spirit of things, I think I'll just take a spoiler warning and I'll put it right about, like, yeah, that's good, it's good. Also put one in the corner. You know what you did.
I mean, first of all, it's already scary enough that you're fighting enemies you've never seen before in an area you've never seen before.
While your arse naked.
But then the Colonel comes on and starts bawling you out like he usually does, but this time it's... different.
Raiden, turn the game console off right now.
What did you say?
He starts staticking out and telling you all about how this is a game.
Don't worry, it's a game. It's a game just like usual.
Yeah, but...
And then you're welcomed by the cold, dead eyes of Rose telling you to not sit too close to the TV.
You'll ruin your eyes playing so close to the TV.
And it goes on and on with your map-it interface getting all fucked around, the Colonel talking about a creepy time he was driving, and scenes from Metal Gear Solid 1 spliced in.
Infiltrate the enemy fortress outer heaven.
Then while all that's happening, the Colonel's face begins to fade away, leaving a ghostly skull.
Yeah, but... Yeah, but...
What we've all come to know and learn and love about what's real and what's fake is flipped around, blurred, and set on fire.
But the main reason why I wanted to put this on the list was because this scene... I knew it was coming.
Metal Gear Solid series. I even looked up footage, the whole works, and still, that moment got to me. Without actually challenging you at all, simply by putting you in a situation that you can barely understand, nor can you control, you feel helpless.
Yeah, but I've already got one for number 1.
Yeah, well, thank you too.
No, Jradgex, wait, maybe...
For reals?
Sure, I mean, those Kodak calls in MGS2 were pretty creepy, but I think you're gonna like what I have chosen for number 1.
Okay, so what is it?
Alright, here goes. My number 1 pick for the scariest thing in a non-scary game is... The Girl in the Forest in Riven.
What?!
Yeah, there's this little girl who comes right the hell out of nowhere and just stares at you for a while you're walking through a totally silent forest. The strange, otherworldly look and feel of Riven pretty much has you permanently on edge. And at this moment, you've just emerged from this and this. And then just when you think you're on your way back to a place you already know, back to something that's familiar, there's an unexpected element standing between you and only relative certainty. And why is she even there? So you can follow her? No, it's the only direction to go. Mist is traditionally void of frivolous human interaction. The only reason I can think of her to be there is to make you jump and make you go... The first time I played this part of the game was almost 15 years ago now, but even after all this time, that moment stuck with me, and seriously, it was the perfect jump scare. So?
Is she there to kill you?
No, it's a Mist game.
Is she a ghost?
I don't think so. No.
Is she a ghost?
No.
Is she the very personification of a demon from the underworld who just by looking at you will reach into the very center of your soul and feed on your Athens as their only form of sustenance, further ensuring the emergence of hell on earth?
No. Wait, what? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it wasn't that scary this time, but that's because I knew it was coming. But I outright screamed when I saw this the first time. And I wasn't alone. I was playing the game with 3 other people. I even went and got testimonials from all of them about that day. They didn't even have to think about it. The moment was burned into their memories just as much as mine. Some scary shit right there.
I think I'm gonna go with the other one.
Yeah, unless she's a ghost, I don't really see how this is at all scary.
Turn the game console off right now!
Shut up! This is my list, not yours.
You know, when I signed up for this, I promised myself I wasn't gonna use "shut up, it's my list" to justify a shitty list item. Now look at me. Twice in one video. What have I become? Apparently forgot to fill that.
Well, it wasn't too bad of a choice.
Yeah, there are worse things you could have picked.
Yeah, I mean, like, who cares about your choices in this list? Don't get all broken up that you...
And putting it at number 1.
Above everyone else's.
Worse than slavery!
Shut up! It's my list!